What's up? What's up?
Hey, boys.
What's going on, fellas?
How we doing today?
Oh, we're hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
We're going. We're going.
Well, welcome to another episode of Gary Williams Oh My Lawn Furniture. We're going to be talking about some Week 5 stuff. We're going to talk about some baseball stuff. Where do you guys want to start?
First, I want to apologize. Sounds like I've been chugging cigarettes for a while. Still getting over this cold. I think I got the black lung. So that could be another movie quote, by the way.
Yeah, that could be another movie quote.
If you don't know, our today's draft is movie quotes.
Yeah. So I apologize if I'm constantly hitting mute and coughing a little bit here and there. I promise I'll do my best to go on mute as quickly as possible as I can. Also, before we get started, I want to going down our rundown. Sarah Shrewsbury and Charles Bitzelberger, CB, got married over this past weekend. One of the most ridiculous weddings I've ever been to in my entire life. Threw all the formal stuff out the window. Their food was fantastic. It was a glorified bull roast, pit beef, pit ham, pit turkey, mac and cheese, coleslaw. The boys, the groomsmen outfits were Orioles jerseys with white shirts underneath. The women all the bridesmaids looked beautiful. It was a great time. Delaware Dave, of course, wore his wedding shorts, as he normally is known to do. And it was just a blast. A couple of highlights from the wedding, because it was incredible, was during the father-daughter dance. Unbelievable father-daughter dance. Great song. Can't remember it because this ass clown of a kid, I don't even know who he is, underage, starts throwing up at the table directly next to the bride and her father while they're dancing. Kirsten and I were so mad at this boy.
You should have saved that for you. That's a shame, dude.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. So that's all I got to start before we get in the rundown.
That's crazy.
How was the country's calling, Dustin?
Country called, dude.
I was gonna say, did the country call?
Yeah, country called. It was absolute banana land down here for the last couple weekends. But yesterday was the Bull on the Beach golf tournament. Raised a bunch of money for AGH. And that was really fun. So we got to, relieve some stress from the weekend. Also, bacon wrapped scallops. Amazing. You are on mute, Mr. Huckleberry.
Did you play in it, or did they come to your bar afterwards, or what's the?
No. I played it. We played in it. It's a scramble, just similar to the St. Gerard tournament or the Chaucer tournament, which also I think we need to talk about on here.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a ton of fun. We almost won it. We came in second one year, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Yesterday we didn't really compete. We just couldn't really make any long putts. But that's how it goes sometimes. But super fun function. It's for a good cause. So, really cool. And yeah, good to get over the festivals and have normalcy back here in Ocean City.
Sure.
It was fun, but my legs were in shambles for a couple days there.
Brooksy, what's going on out in Indy?
Not much. Same old stuff, starting to cool off a little bit. Probably is there as well. Just thinking about everybody that we have friends down in Florida for this hurricane coming in.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that's going to be okay for them down there. That's about it, man. Nothing too crazy over the past couple days.
On that hurricane topic, obviously terrible, because there's still already all that debris from the previous one. I mean, it's gonna be debris on top of debris, or this hurricane might throw debris around to create more debris. My parents, who I adore and love, and I know they listen and watch, they're taking a cruise out of Cape Canaveral. They drove down to Florida yesterday in the hurricane, or in the path of the hurricane. Where they're staying is in the path of the hurricane. They are going to be on the Atlantic side. But I think I called my parents 3 times yesterday. Like, you sure you shouldn't just stop in Georgia, or you sure you shouldn't go past the funnel zone or whatever they call it, where the path of the hurricane. But My mom is as stubborn as I am. I get my stubbornness from my mother. So, no, they got an interior room at a hotel, and they're gonna wait me out.
That's scary, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
scary
think it's
stuff.
supposed to hit. I think it's supposed to hit today, is from what everything I was seeing today or this morning or something like that.
I think it's supposed to hit later tonight, and then go through today, and it's going to hit as a Category 4. I actually heard that on the car ride back from the rental car place.
Jeez. Yeah, so thinking about them down there. Hopefully it takes a left turn, but it doesn't look like it. So thinking about those people down there.
Yeah.
I thought hurricane season was over.
I pictured. I said to my mom and I, we actually saw Independence Day in theaters. This is a very random reference, but if you remember in Independence Day, the first one, like Jeff Goldblum and his father are driving into DC, and everyone else is driving out of DC. I'm picturing that being my mom. My mom being like, "This is so luxurious. There's no traffic."
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I saw like the backups on the highways and stuff.
Yeah, it definitely would not be
People
fun trying to get
leaving.
out of Tampa right now, I'm sure.
A buddy of ours who has a house down there was driving up, and he said that all tolls are just and people going on the shoulder, just people flying through the toll booths because there's no tolls. He was trying to get the fuck out of there as quickly as they possibly can. Totally understand. Just be safe when doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Got my Kansas City mug here.
Oh, nice.
Rooting for them against the Yankees for sure. had to do that. Yeah, I think we should start getting into some. You guys want to do baseball or football first? Ravens Bengals.
Let's do baseball because it's gonna take forever to get through football because we're gonna have to go over the games and stuff.
That's fair. Yeah. Orioles season is over. Really super unfortunate. Have you guys been watching the baseball playoffs since the Orioles got eliminated?
Yeah, sparingly. I've been watching a lot. If you ask me or put a gun to my head and say which one have I been watching the most, it's without a doubt the Padres Dodgers. Not only because they're two extremely good teams, but also and when we, Dusty and I work late nights, so we're still awake and get to watch these as opposed to most people in the Eastern Seaboard or the Midwest who are already asleep. The drama between the two and the hatred between the two is you can almost feel it across the other end of the country. So that's the one I've been watching the most. But yeah, I've been watching sparingly.
Yeah, that's kind of the same here. What's everyone think about this Manny Machado, Dave Roberts shit going on? Did you guys get to see the actual thing that sparked it with Dave Roberts saying that he threw a ball with some intent behind it at him?
Yeah, so someone told me they saw the video and that Manny is throwing it to, I guess, like a ball boy or someone that gets the balls in the Dodger dugout when the inning's about to begin. And he kind of short hopped him, and the ball skipped and got near either Dave Roberts or one of the players, and Dave Roberts, made it a deal. So I haven't seen the video with my own eyes, but that's what was told to me. I can't imagine he just, crow hopped and then hucked one in the dugout.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you what it looks like. It's not. Dave Roberts is really making a huge fucking deal of this, to be honest with you, in my opinion, I should say. He's I mean, the whole Dodgers team, and again, this is my opinion, is kind of coming off like a bunch of crybabies right now.
Yeah. I don't know. It sucks because it's been a really entertaining series. We've got the local kid, Jackson Merrill from Severna Park, absolutely kicking ass. Probably would have won Rookie of the Year this year if it wasn't for a guy named Paul Skeens. They haven't given out the award. I guess he still could, but I think that's a locked and shut case. But yeah, I always like to watch Manny too. If you're an Oriole fan and you hate Manny Machado for leaving, the ownership group didn't want to keep him here. It's not his fault. So I'm a big Manny fan. I think Dave Roberts is kind of blowing this out of proportion too. I just saw the video, and Brooks is going to put it up on the screen now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but he literally gets the ball and throws it towards the dugout, and just so happened that it skips and hits the net in front of Dave Roberts right here, and that's about it. I mean, And obviously they get all bent out of shape right here, but why is this a thing? And then Ken Rosenthal comes out and writes an article about this whole situation. And what did he end up calling it? He headlined it something ridiculous, like obviously clickbait, trying to get people to stir up this controversy even more.
I don't give a shit what Ken Rosenthal said. Who gives a damn? Keep it. No pun intended.
This is bullshit. I do, because this is bullshit. He started this whole fucking thing. The sinister sling. Bullshit.
All I'm going to say from the Dodgers' perspective, keep your eye on the ball. No pun intended. Like, this is the shit that gets you out of the playoffs. You're going to focus on this. Like, just try to win baseball games. Who cares about this stuff?
I agree.
If you got a problem with them, go plunk them.
And they've already plunked a couple people. That's the whole issue now.
Yeah.
Which
you got Walker Buehler slamming trash cans because he can't get a guy out. He can't give up 6 runs in an inning. So you're going to go start smashing trash cans? Like, what's wrong with you? This is it's always they come off at the seams at the most pressure-packed points in the playoffs. And at least they got one World Series out of this. And I'm sorry, if they don't make the World Series, Dave Roberts gonna be gone, and he can throw all the fucking baseballs he wants into any dugout he wants.
Yeah, I mean, Dustin, you're muted right now, but it's ridiculous that this has become a thing and that Dave Roberts was a crybaby about this whole thing to begin with. And then just the LA Dodgers, like the Dodgers fans throwing shit at the players on the field. Just everything that has happened in this series by that side has really rubbed me the wrong way. And don't get me wrong, the Padres are definitely doing some instigation. They're doing a ton of instigation on this whole thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as the Dodgers, you need to just man up and let it go at some point.
I love the juxtaposition. Ridiculous. The juxtaposition of the managers. You have Dave Roberts, who's all fired up, still looks like he could still steal a couple bags out there. And then you have Mike Schilt in the other dugout, who looks like Mr. Belvedere, who's sitting on a rocking chair. Yeah, it's no emotion whatsoever. It's so great.
How about Manny bringing the whole team in and like trying to calm everybody down and saying like, hey, like let's fucking stay focused on what's the task at hand here. What's the overall goal here? We're trying to win a World Series. Good for Manny. Good for him bringing everybody in to kind of bring some level-headedness in there, which you don't really see out of Manny sometimes, even though he was kind of supposedly the instigator in this whole fucking thing, even though, like I said, I don't agree with any of it. I think it's Dave Roberts and Ken Rosenthal getting their panties in a wad for nothing.
This is where Freddie Freeman needs to step up and be like, hey.
I agree.
Let's lock in.
Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, you got leaders on this team. They need to step in there. Is Kershaw still in the dugout somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
I saw somebody tweet this morning that Dave Roberts said it was going to be a bullpen game in Game 4. I mean, didn't they just spend like $1 billion this offseason on Ohtani and Yamamoto and they got Tyler Glass now, they got Walker Buehler. I mean, this is crazy. I can't believe their parade of starting pitchers, and they just can't get anybody on the mound that's very good.
Yeah, I don't get it. I do not get it. And as far as the Yankee series, kind of, talk about I don't want to call it a choke job, but for lack of a better term, out of Judge right now and his playoff performance so far.
Bad.
It's been rough.
It's a history of it too. I saw a stat. He's got the highest strikeout percentage in MLB history for somebody who has over whatever the threshold of at bats was, right over Martin Maldonado, who was number 2 on that list. Who used to kill the Houston Astros.
I saw 4th on that list was Mike Napoli.
Oh, really?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Big Mike Napoli. That guy was awesome.
Did he win a World Series MVP?
I don't know if he was the MVP. He was definitely on that Red Sox team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that was Steve Pierce's year. Didn't Steve Pierce win that year? God.
Yeah, Steve Pierce.
I think he
was
did.
A 3-hitter. He was a 3-hitter. He was awesome.
We should have a draft of the most obscure World Series MVPs of all time. or championship MVPs like Larry Brown from the Cowboys when they had like Dion and Michael Irvin and
Dexter Jackson from the Tampa Bay Bucks on the defense that had Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, and Rondé Barber and John Lynch.
People always
random
forget who
safety
won.
gets 3 picks.
Was it for Seattle when they won the Super Bowl? It was Malcolm Smith.
Yes. Crazy.
Malcolm Smith. I didn't know that.
I don't really know who that guy is. Uh-oh. Brooks, you got
Get
no
out
bat.
Yeah,
No battery.
No bat.
But you were making your cookies and your fire alarm was going off.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk some baseball. We got to talk anything Orioles here?
Yeah, I got a couple Orioles notes on here.
It's just the same thing we harked on all year is what I saw in the series. We couldn't get guys over from second. We couldn't get them in from third when we needed to. We've said it 4 million times on this podcast. And we said, this is how you lose playoff games. And this is how we lost playoff games. Our pitchers showed up. We gave up 3 runs in 2 games and we lost them both. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't even remember what we talked about on the last podcast. I think we had just lost the first game. I don't think we had gone over all this I guess it's kind of old news at this point, but yeah, I mean, same old things on the offensive side. I mean, I'll give it to their pitchers. Their pitchers fucking looked way better against us than they have against the Yankees. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't seem like they can throw a strike half the time against them. Again, I mean, we were swinging at some shit out of the zone. But let's give some props. The pitching was great. The defense was relatively good, at least solid. So some of the stuff that we wanted to see, just minus the hitting. So Elias came out and said that Hyde's going to be back next year, but I confirmed that, but he couldn't confirm anything else. If I had to guess, our pitching coach is probably going to be there again next year, and it's going to be more directed towards our 2 hitting coaches, which was interesting from the start for me. So,
and then we got to see what happens with Fredo.
Gonzalez,
is
that?
Freddie Gonzalez.
Freddie Gonzalez.
I think, yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one. I didn't think about that at all. Another controversial thing that kind of came out over this, Dustin, unless you got something else before I bring this up.
No, go ahead.
So Heather Noble tweeted something. She's known to be pretty close with Mullins' wife. And then she kind of made her whole Twitter profile private pretty quickly. Go ahead, bro.
Who is she? By the way, I wanted to qualify who this woman is.
She does some kind of writing, I think, for the Orioles. I forget, but regardless, she's close with Mullins' wife. And this is what she came out and said. Somebody got a screenshot of it. Got some tea on the Orioles that I was given permission to share anonymously, which boils down to Hyde is in over his head. So they need a new manager. They need to sign veteran leaders, position in pitching. The young players were undisciplined, showed up late to the park. This is something that should not be getting out of the locker room ever. So pretty annoying that this has come out, whether it's true or not really sure, but she is, I don't really give much credit. So this stuff should not be leaving the locker room, and I don't see those players letting it out of the locker room now after they didn't say anything all season and came out after they clinched that, like, everything you see on Twitter isn't always true. So
yeah, I think this is just bullshit. Honestly, I think it's just some person trying to get traction on their social media or something. I don't really take much stock in it.
No, me neither.
I just want to say to all you guys, suck it, nerds. Right.
There's one in Rehoboth. I could get there in an hour. Yeah, if you're not watching us, if you're just listening, Brian's got some Chaps Pit beef that he just got delivered.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Joe as well. Joe is our first member of our Huckleberries. Joe is our first
Hell
Huckleberry.
Yeah. Hey,
So,
hell yeah. Thanks,
he,
man.
I went back and looked, and he was legitimately the first one. So shout out to Joe. Shout out to Joe. He's been an awesome supporter. He commented, I think we put out on our membership our interview with Brad Brock at the Ripken Studios, and he said that's when he was introduced to us. So appreciate you, man, and thanks for following along since then.
Shout out to Chaps Pit Beef, and shout out to Joe.
Yeah. Chaps, sponsors, possibly you. I could use some free extra beef sandwiches, please, and thank you.
I think Brooks, when you do some posting, let's like hashtag them or whatever it is. It'd be great.
Yeah. Could definitely use some pit beef sandwiches in my life right now, since I don't really get them out here.
Yeah, I haven't
anything else, the Orioles?
Not really. I was going to move on to the other playoff series. I mean, we do have to at some point talk about the impending free agents, Corbin Burns and Anthony Santander, if we're going to be able to re-sign those guys or how we're going to fill those holes if they do decide to leave. But I think we've got a long offseason to talk about that. Right now, it still kind of hurts. So I'm good with keeping talking about it, but I prefer to move on because it just makes me sad.
Yeah, I want to get a whole list too of like who the free agents are this year, so we can kind of go through them. That's obviously something we don't need to do right at this point. We'll do that in the future. But
the biggest names are Soto, Burns, and Alex Bregman, I would say. But I think Soto is going to be a Yankee, as Brian just absolutely demolishes a sandwich on camera. I'm so glad you're on mute right now, dude.
All right, let's move on to the Ravens. Let's talk about
it. Yeah, awesome game. I watched this game at the Bowl on the Beach on Sunday. It was amazing. You could feel the air go out of the Bowl when Lamar dropped the ball in overtime and they got the ball back. But it came straight back in when Derrick Henry ran for 50 yards down the sideline and set up that field goal at the end. I think Lamar was fantastic. I think the defense needs some work. What did you guys see, particularly in that game?
Same thing. Lamar was incredible. And anybody who wants to play, the thing that bothers me the most about this whole situation too is that, everybody was pretty pumped, like that we pulled that game off, and we're giving a lot of props to Lamar right now. But I mean, if he fumbled that snap and we end up losing that game, like everybody's headline on the ESPN is going to be like, Lamar fumbled the game away. It's like, no, Lamar's the only reason we won that fucking game, because I don't think this game is close without Lamar.
The narrative changes if we lose the game. Without a doubt. I want to give props.
No, I don't think it should. I don't think it should. It just would on ESPN.
Yeah.
Fair. We always focus so much on the skill position players, and rightfully so, because those are the ones that highest paid, and they get all the love. I thought Tyler Linderbaum was fantastic, and I thought Ronnie Stanley was fantastic. And we've shit on Ronnie Stanley a bunch. They were both great in that game.
Yeah. I agree with you. Honestly, Henry really didn't get going in that game at all. I mean, I know he had the big run in overtime, but I think before that, I think that was like a 50-yard run. He ended up with 96. So before that, he probably only had like 40 yards on the ground. It was kind of
his MO.
It was kind of a Lamar game. Yeah, you think it's just like grind and then hit home runs every now and then?
Well, I think that's always how it's been. That's how it's felt, at least like when he used to play against the Ravens. It's like, all right, I feel like we contain him, and then you get to like the last quarter, and then he breaks one or two, and then that's just kind of how it goes. But it kind of works out. Like, we didn't use him a ton just because, I mean, we were down for a lot of this game.
There was a lot of justice. A lot.
Yeah, and I do like that we're still we're throwing some screen passes out to Henry too to get him in the flat, and I see like they're running Ricard in front of him, like just to give him some space on the outside too. I am liking that a lot. It seems to be working really well too. So it's I really like everything. You got to love everything that the offense is doing right now, to be honest with you. For the most part, and we got fucking Kohler Bear going off for us, and his post game interview was awesome. It was so funny.
Yeah.
They were trying to get him to say to come out and like be serious, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I can't be serious right now. I'm too happy about this." He's like, he goes, "You got all this attention on Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and then they forget about the fat, slow white guy."
He's been great. The post game interview is awesome. I love how much 3 tight end stuff we're running. I think it works so well with our offense. It helps us run the ball. I don't necessarily think we need to have 2 or 3 wideouts like I think a lot of teams do, which is awesome because our offensive line at the beginning of the year was shaky, and I think they, like Brian said, they've improved. And I think the having the tight ends on the field a lot more has really, really helped out with that.
One thing we need to talk.
Yeah, Lamar and Derrick Henry have 900 plus combined rushing yards in 5 games.
Jesus Christ!
And they're both averaging over 6 a carry.
I saw a great statistic that said the Ravens lead the league in rushing, and with like a little over 1,000 yards, and they also have given up the fewest rushing yards, which is an incredible stat given that there are teams that have played 1 less game than the Ravens.
Yeah, that is a great stat. I'm actually surprised it's not. I mean, it's been us for most or all of the season, but the way Pittsburgh's defense has played this year, I'm kind of surprised. Or maybe it's just their pass rush. I'm not really sure. But yeah, one thing I do want to talk about though is Harbaugh's clock management issues continue, because I felt great the entire first half about how we were playing, and then all of a sudden we give up that swing of like 10 points right there at the end because we couldn't figure out if we wanted to call a timeout. We couldn't and try to get the ball back. Like, I'm not really sure. It seemed like that we weren't really sure. The Harbaugh and the Ravens weren't really sure which way they wanted to go with this in terms of strategy wise, which is just, it's frustrating. And it led to a pretty good swing there, and felt like we were chasing them in the second half a little bit because of that. So want to get your guys' take on that. It also, with that, I think we've given him a lot of flack with the clock management and the challenge stuff. It looked like he was actually talking to somebody whether to challenge some of these plays during the weekend. So I don't know if that's a new thing that they're implementing, which would be great because we've talked about how bad the challenges have been, but the clock management stuff continues.
They've always had a guy who is in Harbaugh's ear telling him whether to challenge or not challenge. Now, I don't know if it's a new guy this year or not, but he's always had a guy in his ear in like the last 5 years.
I know, but he said a couple games ago when he had like 2 terrible challenges that he's not talking to anybody, or he didn't talk to anybody or whatever.
That's foolish. That's foolish.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, you have an analytics guy who tells you to go for it or not go for it. Why don't you have a challenge guy? And if you have a challenge guy and you're not using them, what the hell's the point of having them?
Why not listen to him? Like, why not be like, at least get I know the stats guys are there. Like, here's the stats to go for it or not go for it. But like, let's take into account, like, is our offense playing well against this defense today? Is the defense way better than our offense, or vice versa? Like, have a feel. I don't think the stats take into account, like, all right, this is a bad offense going against a great defense and vice versa. It's just taken into account, like, overall, obviously. So I don't know. I think there needs to be a little bit of a feel there as well. But yeah, again, what you're saying is foolish not to at least get some input and then have that at least be a factor. It's not end all be all. Let's not like hinge every decision on the stats and then blame them. Have a feel for it. Have to be a coach.
It's the sabermetric. It's the baseball sabermetrics thing, right? Have a feel, read a room, know what's going on around you. But to kind of go on like I guess kind of the same topic, but I enjoy the real adversity we're facing now. I remember that one year where we lost to the Titans in our first game. We were blowing teams out, and then when we got into a close game, we didn't know how to handle ourselves. And I mean, that was
we played from ahead.
That was a shootout. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
What do you get the feeling? I think Cincinnati's offense looked really explosive, and I think they're kind of starting to click. Do you get the feeling from them that they'll be able to turn it around and make a push? Or do you think 1-4 is too big of a hole?
I think 1-4 is too big of a hole, and I also think, and this is to Dustin and Brooks, your point. That Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Now, they carved us. Yeah. There's got to be some discontent in that locker room. There has to be.
Oh yeah, there was a video of Jamar Chase in the tunnel going into the locker room, like taking his hat off and throwing it, and he was real pissed. Brooks, what do you think? Do you think they have a chance to make a push or no?
Do I think they have a chance? Yeah. But it is a tall task. It is a very tall task. That is they have to play almost perfect football here for the rest of the way. Not saying that they can't lose a game or two. Or I guess, a game or two and still make the playoffs potentially. But, they got to play excellent football the rest of the way.
I like their chances better than the Browns. Watch out, boys. The Browns are a fire with kerosene on both ends. Kerosene tanks on both ends, waiting to explode.
Before we move on to any other games, how about Kevin Harlan's awesome call when Lamar threw down Hendrickson or Hubbard, whoever he threw down? He was like, "Oh, he threw him down like a rag doll." He's also the guy who called him Houdini a couple years ago. That guy's amazing.
All right, so two things.
Underrated.
Hubbard on the sideline when he rips off whatever that little neck thing was. He goes to a knee, and you can just see he's not saying a word. He's just saying, like, you can read his face, like, how the fuck did he get away from me?
Yeah.
And Kevin Harlan's other call where Lamar was running around. He goes, he's as slippery as a raindrop. I've never heard that in my life.
The guy's underrated, and he's starting. That reminds me of like Ben McDonald's like little one-liners that he throws out there, which are awesome as well. Kevin Harlan is. He's definitely underrated in my opinion. He's not somebody I really thought too much about for a long time, but like the more and more I hear him, and I feel like we have him a ton now, and I'm like, man, this guy's awesome. Like,
yeah. Someone we didn't talk about, Flowers was really good in that game. 7 catches for over 100 yards. They peppered him with targets. They've done that a couple different games this year. And he's so shifty when he gets the ball in his hands. He's electric. I really like the way he played. And also Bateman really stepping up for us this year, scored that touchdown. I think he's been so much better than he was at the beginning of his career. So I'm really excited about the way that we're developing our receivers finally.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. You guys got anything else before we move on? Secondary? It needs a little
secondary looked rough. Obviously Humphrey came up with a clutch pick. Yeah, that doesn't denounce like there were some communication issues and everything like that. And something that I need to remember as well, maybe we need to remember it as well too. Like the whole coaching staff on the defensive side is new. And our defensive coordinator is the first time him being a defensive coordinator. So there's a lot of new there as well. And same thing with the offensive line, which has shown progress week over week since the first week and second week when we were like, holy shit, this is terrible. It's gotten better. So hopefully we can give them a little bit of time and have a little bit of patience with them. And hopefully this is a communication issue and a scheme issue rather than a talent issue. Damn it, Joe.
Joe's the new Hardball Challenge guy.
Joe's got his ear.
Yeah, I think if you remember back to when we hired Mike McDonald, the first like maybe 6 or 7 games were pretty rough in defense, and then they really turned it around in the second half of the season. I'd really like to see the same thing out of Zach Orr. Obviously, super young guy, super new to all this, and I mean he was playing linebacker for the Ravens like 6 years ago. So
and again, the running defense has been great. So we'll see. I hope so too. And I got Marcus Williams written down here for, is this the worst signing in franchise history? It might be just in terms of like, it might be just in terms of like, so far he's been out more than he's played. And when he's been playing, he has not been very good. But again, this is a new defense and a whole different scheme. So trying to be have a little bit of a patience with him as well. So like we've seen him be great in New Orleans. So
yeah, I want to put perspective on that. I mean, to say worst signing in franchise history, that's too much. I mean, Earl Thomas is going to be up there for me.
That's exactly what came to my head.
Yeah. But I mean,
that maniac.
The injury bug with Marcus Williams is bad. Then when he gets back, he's not playing to the level that that we signed him when he was with the Jets.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough to play to that level when you're not consistently on the field. And I think hopefully he'd be able to get more consistent reps. And same thing as we talked about with Zach Orr, he can improve. And also you got to remember we got a boundary corner who's a rookie who's starting and trying to cover T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So I mean that's a tall task for any secondary. Anybody in the secondary, let alone a rookie.
Moving on from the secondary because we could beat that to a drum or whichever way we want to go with it. But anybody still worried about Tucker?
No.
Yeah, we got to talk about that, dude. I love that. I loved it. No, I'm not worried about him at all. I think he said all he needed to say on the field on Sunday.
Yep. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
I never wavered, never worried.
Yeah, I wasn't. I wouldn't say I was terribly worried. I mean, the guy obviously has a ton of legs still. It's not like he's losing it. He's not losing his leg. And then, but when he kicked that ball and I saw it come off left, and that's where he's been missing when he's been yanking him a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, my balls went up in me a little bit for a second. I was like, oh shit. And then I saw and then you see like the flags going, and it's like, I mean, you got to have, speaking of balls, you got to have some nuts to start that thing at the left or even outside of the left. From watching Pat McAfee show, he's like, he started this thing all the way out here and brought it all the way back to the center and played the win that way. And after missing over there so much, he was like, you got to have a lot of confidence to do that. So pretty cool to see him pretty much put his meat on the table there.
It looked like one of the power fades I hit in the Bull in the Beach golf tournament yesterday. And by power fade, I mean slice. I think we can move on from the Ravens. I think we talk about them enough. I just saw this news that Nico Collins got put on the IR. He's the leading receiver in the NFL. I had no idea about that. Yeah, so that if you're in fantasy leagues and anybody's got Tank Dell up for grabs, you should go grab him because he's going to be eaten without Nico there. What game do you guys?
Does that mean that they're going to make a play? I mean, let's start there. I guess we're already talking about it. Does anybody think that that puts them high up in the running now to go get Devontae with him on the IR?
Would make sense.
I think anybody could go get him. I listened to Belichick talk on McAfee about how he thinks the second round pick is way too high based on the value, how much money is left on Devontae Adams' contract and his age.
It's a starting point.
I do think he probably will get moved. I don't know if it'll be to Houston. I mean, they still have Tank Dell. They still have Stephon Diggs. And they also have Robert Woods, who I didn't know was still in the NFL, Bobby Trees. Right. I think they'll probably get through it. I don't think they're going to be trading draft capital to go out and get a receiver.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. It's also, it looks like Nico Collins injury is not going to be for the rest of the season. It's just going to be for a couple games. So I wouldn't.
Did he come out during the game? I don't remember.
Yeah. So he caught like a 70 some odd yard touchdown. And while he was going to the end zone, he starts to limp up. And it's definitely a hammy, and he left. He never
They're
2
saying
receptions for like 70 yards and a touch.
Week to week with a hammy, but I think they're putting him on IR just to be careful because they're pretty in control of that division, I would say. They don't really need to be worried about keeping him out there. And plus with all their other weapons, like we talked about.
So they come up, they win 23-20 against the Bills. What does that say about the Bills? So let's who picked me and Dusty had Bills. Brian had Texans. So Brian
wins
that win.
Dude, talking about clock mismanagement. Oh my God, dude.
Good God.
Chris Hansen was losing his shit on red zone. I don't know if you guys saw the clip, but he was just like, what are they doing? At the end of the game, they're backed up against their own goal line with like 20 seconds left in regulation, tied, and they're sitting there and they're throwing the ball out of the end zone instead of just running it and running out the clock and getting there. It's like, what are you guys doing? It was crazy.
So dumb,
so stupid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Buffalo's got some holes. I can't believe they only put up 20, but I think this Texans defense might be legit. Are you guys? I think they're probably up there with us and the Chiefs. It's probably going to be one of the top contenders in the AFC.
Yeah, Josh Allen went 9 for 30. I just want to 9 for 30. How?
That's not very good.
How? How is that possible?
Wow.
Well, he was missing
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, he was leading MVP getter.
Yeah,
and everybody was saying he was a better quarterback than Lamar.
He was missing his security blanket, who's been really good for them this year, Khalil Shakir. He did not play in that game, so that's a little bit of a, I guess getting back or a little bit of an acknowledgement to Josh Allen. Maybe not the worst quarterback ever, but sometimes he goes out and just puts out a stinker, man. That's just that's kind of how he is. Yeah,
31%. Patrick Mahomes does that with his opposite hand.
I mean,
30?
Yeah, I mean that's inexcusable.
And how many of those
especially
9
for a
were
guy at his level?
How many of those 9 might have been checked? I didn't watch the game. How many of those might have been checkdowns? Like, so it could have been like 7 for 30.
And the opposite of that, like instead of like throwing it out of bounds or trying to make a ridiculous play, maybe check it down and take an easy completion. Maybe something happens, But I didn't watch that game too closely, so I don't know if that's what was going on.
I'll go around the league here, and I just want to talk about how Joe Flacco is still elite. It's just ridiculous,
dude.
He has the highest passer. He has the highest passer rating in the NFL right now, like 117. No big deal. He's the man. He's out in Indy. Brooks, go buy him a beer or something, man.
I got to figure out where he's living.
Can they start Richardson next week? I don't think they can, right?
I don't think they should be in a hurry. That's for sure.
Has the worst passer rating. They have the top and the worst.
I mean, what a year for 30-plus-year-old quarterbacks with Andy Dalton and Joe Flacco just coming out slinging.
Hey, look, Indy drafted Anthony Richardson because he could do standing backflips. And that is so fucking important in an NFL game because I need a fucking trapeze artist when I want to get a touchdown. Awesome.
That's our first push of the season right there, Dust. Me and you pushed in that one, and Brian took that one.
Catching the theme here, boys.
How do we not all push, right?
What?
I guess not. That's not true.
No, Brian got the Colts.
Yeah.
Colts +3. But yeah, it's you see flashes of it, right? I mean, you see flashes of like how good he can be, but then you see like a whole couple drives where you're like, what the hell, man? And some of the decision making, it's just not there. I think the best thing for him right now is that Joe Flacco is there that maybe can help him out a little bit in terms of maturing him. But yeah, I think I don't think you could take him out right now. I think with his hip injury or whatever's going on there, it's definitely something where you're going to slow play it for sure. I I just don't think how I don't see how you can't. And I mean, the Browns straight up ran Flacco out of town because they didn't want to have the whole controversy there the entire year because they have so much money invested into their other quarterback. Even though I think they win a few more games than they have so far with Flacco there. So
yeah, and they signed Chicken Wing W. Eaton Jameis Winston in Cleveland.
I think he should be starting.
Joe Flacco. He should be starting. And I'm going to that right now. That's a shame. The malaise,
the Browns organization,
the utter lack of care of Deshaun Watson. And then he goes out, gets sued again, settles immediately because if he gets suspended again by the NFL, his contract of $92 million remaining is null and void. That's a shame. Deshaun Watson, you're a piece of trash. If you were ever on this thing, I would ask you one question and one question only. Why did you need 66 massage therapists? That's it. You can answer that honestly, and I'll shut my yapper.
Well, I mean, I don't think he had 66 massage therapists. I think he just went to a bunch of different places.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot. The team provides you with a masseuse.
Yeah, it's
well, they all go. Like I know the masseuse or two of the masseuses that the Colts go to around town here, and they're not employed by the Colts. They guys do have like their people that they like to go to. Like I know like Tom Brady's guy obviously traveled everywhere with him. Vinatieri had a guy that he swore by. But it's not like you said, it's you're talking about 66 different people. So you're just trying out different people and seeing what can happen.
That's a lot of test driving. That's a lot of test driving, buddy.
My that's a shame goes to me for picking the Browns to win against the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels. I outthought myself. I thought the line was fishy as shit, and I was wrong. Jaden Daniels is awesome. I cannot wait to watch Jaden Daniels versus Lamar Jackson this coming Sunday.
Well, to be fair, your other co-host took him as well. Ryan took him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jaden Daniels, that's there's not much more to be said about the Colts Jags game.
What's your that's a shame, Brooks?
I had one. I need to think about it again and see if I can remember.
Alabama
it'll probably come to me here soon. No, not yet.
How about the Vandy fans carrying the goalpost 3.5 miles down freaking Broadway and throwing it into that pond or whatever?
Yeah, that was incredible. You know what? That's a shame is fucking Dave Roberts. Since we went over it, we already talked about Dave Roberts and Ken Rosenthal. I got a little fired up about that. So that would be that's a shame for you guys being little petty bitches and not focusing on the task at hand. So we'll move on.
If we're hitting the reverse button and just talking baseball again for a second, and I know we're going to go back to football here and go around the league. Tito Francona coming back to the major leagues. How about that?
I completely forgot about this.
The Reds, man.
Yeah. My in-laws are well, I should say, my father-in-law is a Reds fan. My brother-in-law is a Reds fan. They're all from the southeastern part of Indiana, which butts right up to Cincinnati. So I was like, "What do you think about it?" And I don't think he had heard because I had heard about it about an hour before. I had met up with him, and I'm like, "Hey, did you see who the Reds just got as their manager?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, Terry Francona. I don't think anybody knew he was even available because he had retired for the second time now because of health issues. So I think everybody thought he wasn't going to come back because of his health issues. Yeah. So that's if I'm a Reds fan, I'm ecstatic because they've got talent. They've got freaking talent. That's for sure.
They have talent. And I watched an interview with him, and he said that the reason he retired obviously was health issues. He said he needed to focus on his body. He said he lived a semi-normal life for a year. And then he said he wasn't even really looking to get back into baseball, but then the Reds called. And he said that when the Reds called, he said it felt just like when Cleveland called him. He said it just felt right. He said, nothing against Cleveland. He goes, I had a great time in Cleveland. He said he couldn't say anything negative about a single person in the Cleveland organization. He said, but the Reds feel just like Cleveland. And he said
must be an Ohio guy.
I guess. And he also said, Dan Patrick asked him, he's like, what did it feel like for a year to wear normal clothing? He goes, Dan, there's nothing more I enjoy than going into the ballpark, putting on my slides and putting on my baseball pants and just walking around thinking about how we're going to kick someone's ass today. I thought that was a great line.
That's a baseball guy, dude. I love him. Yeah. He's going to have a lot of fun there with Ellie De La Cruz. That guy is awesome. Yeah, we'll pivot. We'll pivot back to football as Brooks is off camera. I don't know what he's doing. While he's off camera, let's talk about Big Bob Saleh getting canned from the Jets. Yeah, Robert Saleh getting let go by the Jets. They announced that their defensive coordinator, I think his name's like Ulbrich or something like that, is going to be the interim head coach. Do we think Rodgers pushed him out, or do we think it was just kind of this team needs to change up?
I think the team needs to change up. I also think that if Rodgers wasn't consulted on it, then something really bad's going on there. Yeah. So he had to sign off on it. So I mean, I'm not saying Rodgers pushed him out, but he had to be consulted and give like the thumbs up. I mean, you're still keeping Nathaniel Hackett there, who's absolute hot garbage. I think Deshaun Watson could actually be a better offensive coordinator than Nathaniel Hackett. But hey, look, this is what Aaron Rodgers wanted, and look, I'm gonna rip off an Aaron Rodgers stat here in a minute. That's on the rundown. Through 5 games, Aaron Rodgers is 2-3 with the Jets, and they've only scored 93 points. Last year, Zach Wilson through 5 games was 2-3, and the Jets scored 93 points. So last year we just blamed everything on fucking Zach Wilson. This year we're not blaming Aaron Rodgers for shit because the media pumps him up to be this fucking darling. Look, he's a great quarterback. He is not a great.
What are you talking about? The media hates him.
Well, I mean, but they still pump him up and talk about him all the time. Like he is the best quarterback to ever fucking set foot on the field. He's Jesus.
He won 4 MVPs, dude.
He's one of them. Awesome. He's on the Mount Rushmore. He's on the Mount Rushmore of top quarterbacks of all time.
But he's not there anymore. And what I'm really getting at, the whole point of bringing up that stat, is he wanted to bring in all his fucking buddies. Bring in Randall Cobb. Bring in Alan Lazard. Bring in this guy. Bring in Nathaniel Hackett, his fucking toupee and his merkin. All right? And look where it got you. Got you right where you fucking deserve to be. And your Packers are actually doing a decent job. Suck it, Aaron Rodgers. And go drink or eat ayahuasca or drink ayahuasca or snort ayahuasca or smoke ayahuasca. Go sit in a cave. I'm done.
We should throw like a funeral, like burn something or pour one out for the people who took Breece Hall #1 in fantasy this year.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers going to throw the ball off his fucking ass and then blame him. Guy's
I mean, I don't.
His own family doesn't talk to him. His own family hates him. Think about that.
That's not true.
His brother hates him.
Well, you know why? Because Aaron Rodgers hates him. Because he went and fucking profited off of his name. Like a bunch of that shit came out to be false. Like all these narratives, like you're bringing up a bunch of narratives about him that he never said a word for fucking 15 years, and now he starts talking and everybody hates him because the media painted him in a bad light for 15 years, and he just killed.
He's always going to be the smartest guy in the room. He's always
going to be out of the last 3 years, he hasn't talked in 15 years. He didn't say a word. He didn't say a word. Now he's sick of people slandering his name, and he's like, "No, fuck you. This is not how I feel. You're putting words in my mouth."
And he has a D in his last name, and my last name doesn't have a D, so I don't like him even because of that.
I don't know, and I can't sit here and say Nathaniel Hackett's a bad offensive coordinator when Rodgers won 2 MVPs with him. So I don't know.
93 points.
I agree.
Vikings.
I don't think
he should be the offensive coordinator.
Who?
Rodgers. He should just be the offensive coordinator. Why do you need Hackett?
I mean, he's
also the GM. I mean, he's Joe Douglas.
I mean, they came out and said that Woody went down and talked to him, but he didn't even ask him about Saleh and everything like that. Sure. We all know there was a fucking input in there, and there should be. I heard you talking earlier. There should be. I mean, that's your franchise quarterback at this time. If he thinks that he shouldn't go, then you should take that into account. So,
yeah, look, they just look sloppy. London games are always weird. But yeah,
And I will say, like
great.
He hasn't looked very accurate the last couple of games either. Right, wrong, like whether I don't really maybe I'm not seeing this correctly, but I mean, watching the last two games with Rodgers playing, he just looks like he's missing throws that he doesn't usually miss. Yeah. And that could be a rust thing. I mean, that could be a rust thing, but he's also 40, so we got to take that into account.
And another thing that really rubs me the wrong way with Aaron Rodgers, it's like year to year, am I coming back? Am I not coming back? That's what the Packers finally were like, fuck this. We don't need to deal with this shit anymore. We're just going to move on, and we don't got to worry about how you feel or how the cave is, and if you're going to come out of it pissed in the corner. Like, no one cares.
Oh man, you guys.
I think he cares whether he wants to come back or not. I think he should be able to figure out if he wants to. It's his life. I mean, should he retire and then come back like Favre 3 times?
Like Favre.
I
like that, Joe. That's a great line. That is a great line.
Oh man,
I agree. To bring up something that Joe said earlier too, I know we're going back again, but Buck Showalter end up in Dodger blue next year if they blow this.
It's not going to be Dave Roberts. I know that for sure.
I mean, I think it's something worth saying, but I mean, things didn't go very well up in New York either for old Buck. So I don't know if I could see him calling it quits at this point, unless he's going to go be a GM somewhere. You're on mute, Brian.
Right. You're on mute.
The new theme seems to be hiring the younger coaches and former players. Now, I know we just talked about Tito Francona coming back, so maybe Buck could be the other outlier in this situation. But I would love to see him in Dodger blue. I think it would really be good, especially with a stable front office, stable ownership. I think that would be awesome because when Buck was here, obviously we didn't have that stability in Baltimore. So I would love to see that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think that's a good point, Brian. I think you hit the nail on the head. A lot of the newer guys that have been hired have been former players. The guys who just retired. Stephen Vogt for the Guardians. Grady Sizemore got hired. Rocco Baldelli's coaching Minnesota, I believe. I think that
Craig
could
Kimbrell,
be a trend.
Craig Kimbrell. Craig Counsell. Craig Kimbrell, coach our bullpen. Yeah, okay.
I mean, Joe makes a good point here. Managing the greatest players to ever live and get anybody off the couch. I think you'll take that call any day of the week. I mean, Craig. Sure. I mean, not only that, the talent that they have there and the willingness to go spend money to get whoever. If you go say, "This is who I want," they're definitely going to make a fucking effort to go get him.
Well, if you watch ESPN, maybe LeBron can coach the fucking Dodgers.
Well, I mean, I don't think you want him to be part owner because everybody he's a part owner of is not doing very
good. Jordan had the same problem. Jordan had the same problem. His team stuck too. All right, let's get back to football. Good for the Jets good for the Vikings for being 5-0. I don't think they're.
Dusty and Brian both took the Jets in this game. I like it.
And I took it because it was weird, and it's the same thing I overthunk. I'm just gonna pick who I think is gonna win from now on. I'm not gonna look at the lines and try to see what Vegas is thinking.
All right. Flip side, we didn't talk about them, but the Vikes are 5-0. We talked a lot of shit on the Jets, and I know that's a lot going on with Saleh. Vikes are 5-0, boys. Sam Darnold looks great. Everything about him looks great. I mean, when's the last time you remember Rodgers throwing 3 interceptions in a game? It's been probably 6 years, I feel like.
There was one season he had 3 picks total.
Yeah.
Now, the Vikings have a QB controversy if Sam Darnold keeps playing like this. Now, look, they drafted J.J. McCarthy, so when people say that they believed in Sam Darnold, you can go fuck yourself. Because the reason they drafted J.J. McCarthy was because they didn't believe in Sam Darnold. They just used him as a buffer. And now, Sam Darnold looks really damn good in this offense with Kevin O'Connell. If he keeps playing well, what are you going to do?
Talk about kicking ass in a contract year, dude. He took a 1-year, $10 million prove-it deal, and he is proving it. He's going to get paid by somebody. I don't know if it'll be Minnesota or not, but it's going to be interesting. I want to give the flowers, ironically, to Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings. Nobody expected this group to be very good this year, and he has done a fantastic job. I think he's going to be a head coaching candidate next year.
Oh yeah, I think he should. I think that's what everybody said. What was going to be lacking on this team, right? It was going to be the defense. Everyone said that we're going to see our best Sam Darnold because their offensive line is great. They got Aaron Jones coming in. They got great receivers, i.e., Justin Jefferson, one of the best in the league, if not the best. So they were like, all right, we're going to see a pretty good Sam Darnold here. At least he's not going to. At least to be.
Yep. Hockenson, who's a good tight end.
By the way, yeah.
One of the ugliest sons of guns I've ever seen in my entire life.
Hockenson isn't even playing yet, by the way. That offense is only getting better. He's been on the pup all year. So he is going to be coming back. That offense will get way more explosive. I think it's awesome. I think it's been awesome for purple parlays as well. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Ravens-Vikings parlays are always fun. If you guys want to start doing purple parlay, shout out to Mike and Ernie Lucas for that. But they've been kicking ass.
You know what else? Now that I'm reminded and people don't forget, like Dustin said, Robert Saleh getting fired as the first head coach as one of our bets has fallen.
Oh man,
one of our bets has fallen.
I guess Kirsten gets to pie me in the face.
Yeah.
Get dangerously delicious on the line.
Brian, for you guys who may not know, Brian made a little bit of a bet. He said that if Matt Eberflus was not the first coach fired, he would take a pie to the face on camera.
I think he said two. So I think he said two.
Maybe he said two. I don't know. He was in a weird mood that day. But
I was on ayahuasca. Sorry, guys. I was out of it.
Let's move on. Bears kicked the shit out of the Panthers. I don't really want to talk about that game. I don't have really anything to say. Dolphins Patriots was a complete disaster. Didn't watch a minute of it. Broncos Raiders. Antonio Pierce on the hot seat. We think
no chance. They just signed him to all that money, and they're still paying John Gruden.
You think he's just going to stay? Just financial decision. They have to keep him. They're stuck with him.
A year. They'll probably give him 2 years, and after that, see it. At least he's eating half because they gave him a 4-year deal. At least he's eating half the contract and actually gave him something to do.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I don't know if is it Antonio Pierce. I mean, the team.
There's no quarterback.
Know what's going. There's no quarterback. They ended up benching.
And Devontae Adams hasn't played.
Yeah.
I want to bring this up to the group since we're talking about the Raiders. All right. Let's start looking toward trade deadline stuff. Max Crosby.
I don't think they can move him. I think he's like the cornerstone of the team.
You probably don't want to be there if they get rid of Devontae.
Yeah, maybe. But look, like, you still got to put asses in seats, and he's their guy there too. So I don't think he'll move. I would be awesome. He's a great player. It'd be awesome to see him on a contender, but I don't see it.
I'm going to go against your asses and seats thing. I think asses and seats kind of take care of themselves with Vegas because it's a destination place for a lot of away teams.
Yeah. That stadium looks like a giant Roomba.
It really does. It really does. I've heard that before. It's awesome.
How about
Why didn't Roomba get in on that deal and naming rights? Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, Roomba Stadium. iRobot Stadium or whatever. Yeah.
iRobot Stadium.
Giants beat the Seahawks. Pretty surprising. Knocked me out of my Survivor League. Really sucked. I thought the Giants were ass, and I thought with no Malik Neighbors, I thought they were going to completely crumble. But whoever this kid is that started over Devin Singletary, who got hurt, ran for like 130 yards. Seahawks defense did not look very good. Geno is still slinging it, though. I think he's got the most yards in the league. He's got 1,400 yards already.
I think he's the number one.
Yeah, he's got the biggest brain in the league. See how big his forehead is? It's unbelievable. It protrudes from the front of his face. It's unbelievable. It's like he's wearing a brim.
I think he's number one in the league in terms of like fantasy football wise this year so far.
Yeah, he's been really good.
No way.
I think
Really?
I think it's Lamar. I think it's Lamar, but
Well, it might be
just because
Lamar
of
after this last week, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, going into this week, he was definitely in the top couple of guys, and I think he still is. Really, I mean, they're throwing the ball a ton.
He's playing. I mean, he's playing well. And Mike McDonald is a great defensive coordinator. He's going to get that if he hasn't already got it there. I mean, that defense will come around if it hasn't come around already. So, I mean, they're only up and up. And I like Charbonnet. Yeah. I really do. As a complimentary back to
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah. I hate it because I got Kenneth Walker on my fantasy team in one of my leagues, and but I mean,
we hate splitting carries in fantasy football. We did not.
And I think that's the worst loss of the week was the Seahawks, not because you're survivor pool, Dusty, but because the 49ers are floundering. This is your time to jump on the Niners and give yourself a little bit of push in that division, and you couldn't do it, and you should have.
Yeah. In a Giants team that's been bad, missing their starting running back and their best player on offense. Really their best player on the team.
They missed a golden opportunity to really get some push there. And I think the Niners are going to come around at some point or another when they get Debo back and McCaffrey comes back.
Yeah, we got to talk about
they're going to figure it out.
We got to talk about that. How in the hell did they lose to the Cardinals?
Yeah. Did you see Kyler Murray? He turns the corner. He's running. He turns the corner. He's 42 yards away from the end zone. He is 2 yards ahead of the nearest defender behind him, and he's already celebrating. I'm like, holy shit, this dude knows he's fast as hell.
Yeah,
you starting to trust Kyler Murray a little bit more?
No, still not. But
he makes fast people.
I mean, he's playing his ass off this year so far. Like I think we talked about this. We knew that, or we thought that their offense was going to be pretty freaking good and put some points up. We just didn't know if the defense was going to be able to hold. But yeah, I mean, so far, Kyler looks pretty damn good coming back. I got a new that's a shame. My that's a shame is for the Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture Fantasy Football League. I lost to Mr. Rogers last week. And we all know that Brian Rogers is the most astute and really pays attention to his fantasy football leagues when he does play. He had 2 people on a bye and a guy out with injury, and his defense got -3 points, and I still fucking lost to him.
Boom. I even looked to try to get the guys that were on buys. Like I tried to, but yes. I auto drafted because I was watching the new Beetlejuice during the draft, and really drafted all wide receivers for me, and I got like no running backs. So I was so screwed on bye weeks.
I cannot believe that.
It was awesome. I saw it. I giggled, and
that's a shame.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal, man.
It's bad.
I had the Vikings put up 18 points for me. Still lost.
How about Van Ginkel? Speaking of the Vikings team, Van Ginkel.
Dude, I sent a text in one of my group chats. He's like the king of housing screens and slants. That guy is always in the end zone.
So I watched the interview yesterday on McAfee's show with KOC. Said they were practicing all the different, like if Rodgers sees certain pressures and like his checkdowns and stuff like that, they were practicing all that. So like he was literally ready for it because they practiced it all week. I mean, which is kind of next level thinking.
I didn't see the game or any of the highlights. I just saw that I got an update on my phone that he scored a touchdown. I'm like, holy hell, this guy's always in the end zone.
I watched it live and I was like, there's no way this guy keeps doing this.
And everyone from Applebee's is all excited because they get 6 free boneless wings.
Who goes to Applebee's? If you're going to go to a chain restaurant, go to a real restaurant like Outback or something.
You don't want me to answer that question, buddy. Oh my God! Speaking of which, the price of wings right now $134 a case, up from $79 a case. Are you kidding me?
It's crazy, man. Try to get chicken
football
wings
season.
Yeah. We still haven't.
That's why boneless wings are so hot right now. It's so much easier and so much cheaper.
Let's
keep
move on.
Paying $20 for a dozen.
I mean, it's gonna keep happening. everything is just.
Is this going to be every football season? I mean, I know
right around this time every year.
I mean, at first it started with COVID, right? And then that's when they all went through the roof. And now it seems like every football season they're going through the roof. And
wings used to be cheaper during football season. You used to get deals.
Yeah,
it used to be like, come wings here.
And now you're not going to get those deals anymore. We talked about it at both establishments. You can't do it because the wings are so expensive, and it's always week 5, week 6, or week 7, right there in that realm where the prices jump. And they always blame that poultry prices need to skyrocket because poultry is down. It's not down. They're just fleecing people because they know they all want to eat chicken wings when they watch football.
It's the old supply and demand.
Yep.
It's the gas prices. Economics.
Gas prices rise when the summer comes around. That's weird because everyone's driving to the beach.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Packers beat the Rams. Didn't really watch much of this game. Did you guys see anything? Or
no, I didn't watch any.
Any thoughts?
I didn't watch a ton of it, but I'm still surprised that the Rams are sticking in some of these games here without Puka and without Cooper Kupp, and I think they lost somebody else recently too, and I can't remember who it was. I'm super surprised. I mean, once they get those guys back, and the Rams make a run here, what's their record at this point?
I think 2-3.
Man, I think they're 1-4.
Oh, are they?
It is.
I can't believe they're sticking in some of these games.
Going back to the trade deadline.
They're 1-4. The only win was against the Niners. Yeah.
I mean, do they go to Matt Stafford and just kind of say, hey, look, I'm not going to have it this year. It's the last run for you, basically, this year, next year, maybe. You want to go somewhere?
Maybe. Well, you really very, very rarely see starting caliber quarterbacks get traded midseason.
Sure.
Very rare. I don't know if I can remember an example of one.
I mean, you can be looking at the Saints right now. I mean, they might start Spencer Rattler this week.
Is Taysom Hill not healthy? He can't play?
I don't know.
Spencer Rattler.
The fact they had some kid who sounded like he worked at the Enterprise Rent-A-Car I went to today. Play quarterback for the last two series. I don't even know his name. I mean, that's how awesome he was.
Was it Ian Book?
No. I think it might have been Nathan Peterman. God,
that's no way that guy's still in the league.
Look, someone look it up.
I wouldn't be surprised if he is.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing else on the Packers Rams then. Cowboys Steelers Sunday night. The Cowboys dominated the game. If you look at the box score, I think they outgained the Steelers by like 200 yards, but they still had to make a drive and make a play at the end of the game to get the win. I don't know. This Cowboys team looks rough. I will say they were missing Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, who are two of the best pass rushers in the league. So that's really a big blow. But
I think
do we learn more about the Cowboys or the Steelers? What do you got?
Learn more about the Steelers. The best defensive player on the Cowboys was Justin Fields. He was absolutely terrible. It's definitely Russell Wilson's turn. I learned more about the Steelers than I did. And the Steelers have no wide receivers. George Pickens is the wide receiver version of Deshaun Watson. So good luck to the Steelers moving forward. Mike Tomlin will try to right the ship, and he most likely will because that's how good of a coach Mike Tomlin is. I learned more about the Steelers than I did the Cowboys. And Mike McCarthy is Aaron Boone. He inevitably will fuck it up.
Yeah, I don't think the only people that the Steelers have to throw to at this point. I mean, I know their offensive line is banged up. I think 3 of their starters are out. You really got Pickens and Freiermuth. There are only 2 people to throw to. It's hard to run when your offensive line is that banged up, but they're in a tough spot right now.
And Najee Harris aged, I think, 7 years in the offseason. So
I think he aged that much coming out of college. He hasn't lived up to a lot of the hype.
He's the new Trent Richardson wearing black and gold.
He's been brutal, man.
Yeah.
I think I've been saying Jalen Warren's better than him for 2 years now. I mean, I just think he's straight a better player.
I remember Jalen Warren at Kentucky. He was great.
Yeah.
He just every time he's in the game, it just looks like there's just more of a spark. I don't know what it is, but
it reminds me a lot of the Tony Pollard when Zeke was starting to decline. Tony Pollard came in and it was a different gear.
Yeah. That's a really, really good example. I love that one. Last game of the week was Saints Chiefs. I watched this game, but I was also at work, so I didn't get to see everything that happened. I saw the Rashid Shaheed touchdown. I don't know. I've been saying forever, I think Derek Carr is not very good. They got off to the really hot start, but I don't really believe in this Saints team moving forward.
No, Derek Carr played his ass off. He was constantly getting pressure from not just Chris Jones, because Chris Jones didn't really show up to the back end of the third quarter and fourth quarter when he needed to really show up. But there were other guys getting pressure on Derek Carr throughout the duration of the day. There was some guy in his crotch at all times. He made a play that he ended up getting hurt on. It's a ball, and it goes right through some kid named Tipton's hands. He gets pushed down, hurts his oblique. He's out probably 4 weeks. And he played his ass off, and the rest of the team did not. Alvin Kamara was basically non-existent. Tyrann Mathieu, he just wanted to punch people in the face on defense. The Chiefs, I want to speak about the Chiefs. How the hell do Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes go to the local shopping mall, pick up 6 guys who are sitting outside looking for jobs, and all of a sudden figure out how to make them score touchdowns and run routes? Because I don't know half the people on the team other than Juju Smith-Schuster and Travis Kelce.
And Juju Smith-Schuster got cut by the Patriots, who were one of the worst teams in the league. They didn't want him. I mean,
Kareem Hunt's in hotel casinos kicking people. He's out here scoring touchdowns now. And then you got some guy named Cam Steele, who sounds like a porn star. He's scoring touchdowns. What the hell's going
Steele.
On? Whatever his name
is. He's the guy with the pet alligator.
But they did get some good news. Well, they think they got some good news. I think they have to go get some more opinions or whatever. But they think the Rashid Rice thing might not be
season ending. Yeah,
season ending. But
it went from non-season ending to season ending now to non-season ending again. So there's a lot of conflicting information going back and forth here on this one.
Well, because there's multiple doctors who have multiple opinions on this at the moment. So they actually they opened them up yesterday to figure out what the hell is actually going on. So I'm wondering, I'm interested to see what happens there.
I'm interested in what your camera's doing right now.
Yeah.
Same. Me too.
Joe, I need you to go out to Indianapolis, help Brooks out a little bit, buddy.
Yeah, he's not our local tech expert.
We'll pay for your flight, dude.
That's really all I have for the NFL week. We will preview the incoming NFL week, including the game tomorrow night, and we'll do our picks in our show tomorrow. We're going to have Sean Foy on the show to cream his pants about Jaden Daniels a little bit. And preview the Ravens Commanders game and the rest of the game, and we'll make them our picks. But if you guys don't have anything else, I think we can get to our snake draft.
I got something. We did not even talk about the Bucks Falcons game.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's the first game of the week on Thursday.
Did not get to watch it. Was at work.
509 passing yards for primetime Kirk to break Matt Ryan's single game record as he goes into the Ring of Honor that during halftime as well. I thought that was pretty awesome. And also Atlanta just needs to bring those uniforms back and keep them. That just needs to be their black jerseys. Those uniforms are sick.
Yeah. And to go along with that, and we can go right back to this game. How about those Broncos uniforms? Oh my goodness gracious. Those were delicious. The yellow helmet, those baby bluish or light bluish jerseys. Oh, those are tasty. God. That's why they won. They didn't win because of Bo Nix. They won because of the uniforms. They saddled those things on. They could have thrown their helmet out there. They would have won the game.
They're winning in spite of Bo Nix. I do not believe in that guy. I'm not huge on him. I don't have anything for the Thursday night. I don't have anything for the Thursday night game. I was at work. I didn't get to watch it. I saw the score, but it looked fun to watch, but I didn't get to watch it.
Dude, Kirk Cousins is just diesel. Could you trade Michael Penix? Get a first round pick back and maybe a second round pick back in for.
I don't know about that. I think that was the weirdest thing. I still don't have a clue what their plan is. Something else I forgot. Drake May is starting his first game this week. Jacoby Brissett has been benched. Drake May is going to be starting against the Texans, who I believe sacked Josh Allen 7 times. And now the Patriots are going to try to get their quarterback of the future killed behind what I believe is one of the worst offensive lines in the league. I think this is too early. Brissett's been abysmal, but I don't know. I think you start him against the Dolphins or some team you have a chance of beating and get his confidence up. I don't think they have a chance of beating Houston.
I think Will Anderson will be wearing Drake May to the locker room.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know what to do there. And also on the Dolphins, what are they going to do in terms of?
They're going to bring Tua back. He wants to play.
That's so and I think if he's cleared to play, I mean, we'll listen to the medical experts.
I understand. I also understand the money associated with it. I've read all about it and heard all about it. So I totally understand where he's coming from, why he wants to do it, and his passion for the game. It's just terrifying. If he gets hurt one more time, it's got to be a career ender. And it sucks to say that because he all indications are he's a decent human being.
Oh yeah, everyone loves him, but it's I don't know. I just say leave it up to the medical experts. You have to. I mean, that's all you can do.
That's all you can do. 100% right.
All right. Let's move on to our snake draft. I didn't make a graphic last week because I completely forgot until right now. So we did not get to put that up on Instagram to poll people. So do you guys want to let Brian go first?
Yeah. What was our draft last week?
Mascots.
Gotcha.
It kind of went off the rails anyway.
No, it would have been a good one. What are you saying? We got to put both out then.
Yeah, you're gonna make a mascot one, and then you're gonna also give the movie quote one.
Correct. Yeah, I'll make them both after this. I don't have anything to do the rest of the day.
All right, sounds good. So I'll give a little background of what we're doing for our draft while you go ahead and type away.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're gonna do top movie quotes. Movie quotes can be from any movie. Does not have to be sports related whatsoever. These are one-line quotes, so you can't have 3 sentences, 4 sentences. They need to be basically quick one-hitters. Do we want to do 5 picks or 10 picks? Because I know we have a ton. And I don't know if you can even make a graphic that has 10 spots on it. I don't know what you guys want to do.
I think let's keep it at 5, just because we always do 5. I think it's good. These aren't going to be the best movie quotes. These are going to be our favorite movie quotes in for sure. So obviously there's going to be we're not going to pick Casablanca or Gone with the Wind or anything like that. I mean, maybe.
Here's looking at you, kid. By the way, I'll take that one off.
For the order, Brian, do you want to go first?
Sure. This will be in first.
All right. Let's do Brian Brooks, and I'll go last, if that's cool with you guys.
All right. So with the first overall pick, I will take You Are Killing Me, Smalls.
Yeah, that's good. I was on my list. Gotta get my list out.
I'm gonna go with Big Gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That sounds fantastic. I'll have a bowl. My number 1 is, of course, going to be The Replacements. Pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever.
You're such a replacement, Homer.
I love that movie, dude. I've seen it a million times. And my number 2 is going to be from the movie Ace Ventura. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
Just wait longer. Delaware Dave is going to vote for you, without a doubt. Excuse me, guys.
Question before we get later in this. If I pick an Ace Ventura quote, can somebody else still pick a different Ace Ventura quote or no?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's still a quote.
Okay. Cool. Just making sure.
My second one's going to be take a step back and literally fuck your own face.
Well, I would have put the F word on the graphic. I would just do some
Oh,
stars. Or some
We'll asterisk
Yeah.
or blur it or something.
All right. I would be absolutely destroyed by not only our viewers, our members, and myself and my friends. I'll be your Huckleberry from Tombstone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just
That's the name. That's the name of our membership.
Yep. And then I have to go with Houston. We have a problem.
Houston, we have a problem is a classic.
My next one's going to be, what does high score mean? Did I break it?
Damn it.
Okay. I got 2 in a row. My next one is How Do You Like Them Apples from Good Will Hunting.
Nice.
Fantastic
Nice.
scene. And my number 4 is You're Gonna Die, Clown. When Happy Gilmore's at the mini golf course and he gets pissed off and slings his putter at the clown's nose. It literally makes me laugh every time.
Every time.
He's laughing. He's having a good time laughing up.
All right, Brooksy, you're up, buddy.
Oh, that brings up a whole nother bunch of quotes in my head now.
God, I have so much decision making to do for this
There's
last
so many here. There's so many.
I mean, there's.
Man,
I've got one of my favorite ones sitting under my name.
People don't forget.
People don't forget.
there's so many good ones. Like, I don't even.
There's one Dusty needs to get. If he doesn't get it, it's going to piss me off because it's one of his favorite movies.
I would say it's almost certainly on my rundown, but maybe not.
All right, Brooks, you're up. Come on, man. We're not picking names of a child here.
I'm gonna go with I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
That was on my list for sure.
Yeah. All right, I get 2 to round out my draft. This one is for Kirsten specifically. Life is like a box of chocolates. And
your last one?
There's no crying in baseball.
I can't believe that didn't go first. I thought I was gonna get it at 5.
Yeah.
So I got one.
I'm glad somebody. Yeah. I'm glad somebody took it. Yeah, we both had one left, Brooks.
Yeah.
Do I go with a serious one on this one or not? I don't have any other serious ones, so why start now, right? Give me another Adam Sandler movie with Kick Him Off the Tour, Doug.
That's not good. That's bad.
That's a good one. I love that one. I love that movie. I'm between so much stuff here. I picked my first 4 in order, but I didn't pick my 5th one, so I gotta just go for it.
I wish I did more research.
Give me Tommy Want Wingy.
Yeah.
All right, now let's
from Tommy Boy.
All right, so we all have honorable mentions. So let's do this. Let's do some strategery with the honorable mentions. Let's all give 5 at a time, and we'll start with Dustin first. Give 5 of your honorable mentions, and then if we have more, then we can free for all it after we each give 5.
Okay. last game of the year, Brett. Can't hold anything back now. What the hell is Brett Favre doing here? Something about Mary.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Get on the scale, get off the scale from
Heavyweights. Tony Perkins.
Yeah.
How'd I miss that one?
There's a scene in The Town where Ben Affleck's like, we got to go somewhere. Some people are going to get hurt. A lot of people. Yeah, Jeremy Renner goes, whose car are we taking? That's a really good one. And then I got one more. From one of my favorite movies when I was younger, Without a Paddle. I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you.
All right, Brooks, you give 5 honorable mentions.
I don't have them all written down like you guys do. One of the ones that I was thinking about doing is looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue from Airplane. Another one is the TV PG version of Snakes on a Plane when he goes,
oh yeah,
I'm sick of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday Friday plane.
If you don't have any
and then ask me about my wieners, always a good one.
Yeah, that's great.
But you can go ahead.
All right. How'd you get the beans above the Frank? Something about Mary.
Yeah.
Put him in a body bag from Karate Kid.
Yep.
Back to the Chopper from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Get to the chopper.
Whatever. Bartender Joe Boo needs a refill.
Yep.
Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. That's the one Dusty I thought was going to get.
No, I did not. I'll go for some more. Cram it up your cram hole, LaFleur from Dodgeball. It's Knuckle Puck time from Mighty Ducks. I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? From Meet the Parents.
That's a great one.
You're going to need a bigger boat from Jaws. And Let the Big Dog Eat from Phil Brickma in the movie I can't remember right now. What's that movie called?
Oh, it's
Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I got a couple more. More Ace Venturas. Like a Glove. We forgot that.
Like a glove.
Kind of hot in these rhinos.
That's so good. One of the best scenes of all time. But he's capital fan.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you a question.
Chicago. All right. From my favorite Christmas movie of all time, Christmas Vacation, when he is out there trying to light the Christmas lights, and the daughter goes, he worked really hard on it, Grandpa. And he goes, yeah, so do washing machines. From Bull Durham, Hit the Bull. And then how he didn't do any from Field of Dreams is ridiculous. People will come, Ray. If you build it, he will come. Ease his pain. Watch out for In Your Ear. Tommy Boy, did you eat paint chips as a kid? And then from
Tommy
old
Boy.
school, You're My Boy Blue.
Yeah.
Tommy Boy, oh my, wrecked him, damn near killed him.
Rick killed a guy. Yes, stabbed him in the heart with a trident.
You got a dart in your neck, dude.
There's so many. You sound like you're from London.
Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Pull over. No, it's a cardigan. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. I mean, we could do this literally all day. I have so many we didn't even say yet.
Oh man,
I should really do more research when doing these.
I kind of wish I would have done. I would have put the heavyweights one on my list, but we already did it, so can't go back now. Yeah, Guys, we'll put the graphics up for best mascots and best movie quote snake draft. I'll have those done today, so we'll get those out to you guys so you can vote. We will do another show tomorrow with our buddy Sean Foy. He's a friend of the show. You've seen him on here before if you watch us regularly. He is a Washington Commanders fan, so he will be helping us preview the Ravens-Commanders game, and we will do our picks for the NFL Week 6 tomorrow during that podcast. Anything else before you guys that you guys want to say before we sign off?
I have two things. One, I watched a great show on Netflix the other day that I want to recommend to anyone that's watching, or to both of you, obviously. It's called Into the Fire. Kirsten and I are really big into these murder docuseries. It's 2 episodes, both easy watching, about an hour and 10 minutes pop. It's about a child adoption, and the adoption goes wrong. I'm not going to give anything else away, but it's an easy watch. It's a great watch. It'll make you mad a little bit, but it's also shows you how perseverance and trying to find out the truth is something that should happen all the time. It was really awesome for Kirsten and I to watch. We really enjoyed it. What's that easy watch called Into the Fire on Netflix? Second, the Charleston Golf Outing. Charleston Golf Outing is October 21st, Monday, October 21st. Anybody out there that lives in the Baltimore area, we're playing the Mountain Ranch Golf Course. 9 a.m. shotgun start, 8 a.m. registration. It's $700 a foursome. Please contact the Chaucer, or you can contact us on Twitter, and you can contact me directly at B_Raj20, and we will go ahead and get you signed up. I have 6 foursomes left. I'm going to be in a reverse dunk tank where I'm going to be getting cream corn and baked beans dunked on me. You can come throw balls with the dunk tank. It's going to be a great time. I got food on the course. I got booze on the course. It's going to be a blast. There's food after the round as well at Mountain Branch. It's a great golf course run by Bill and Gus Vasilikopoulos up in the Falston area. So please give a shout out if you would like to join.
Yeah. I mean, I got something heavy on my heart. One of Banks' friends from daycare passed away unexpectedly yesterday. So we're kind of mourning the loss of that right now. We're friends with their parents. They live right down the road in the community of our in-laws. So just a reminder that someone crosses your mind, reach out. If you think something nice about somebody, say it. Life's a little unpredictable at times, so cherish that time. Yep.
Sorry to hear that, Brooksy, and to your friends. That's losing anyone is tough. Losing someone that young is probably magnifies it by an degree I can't even fathom. So I'm sorry for your friends, and hopefully you and Kate are taking it as best as you possibly can.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple of days. So but yeah, on a lighter note, that's just a reminder for people to reach out to people you love, or even somebody you haven't talked to in a while. If you think something, reminded of a story or something that happened, reach out to them, say hi, tell them you love them. Other than that, we called him out at the beginning of the show, Joe Radke, our first ever member. He was the first one to join the membership, but as a reminder, we do have memberships open. We will be giving away some free merchandise if you join over here over the next week or so. We're going to pick some random members that have joined and send you guys some free hats. So we might be reaching out to you for your address. So keep an eye out for that.
Brian, you're muted. You're good.
Big shout out to Joe. Thank you very much, my man. You've been awesome. All the comments are fucking fantastic. Really appreciate you. Anybody else who wants to join, please, that would be awesome. Look, we suck at this. We understand that we suck at this. So we just like having fun. And I say it every single week, whenever we close up. The best part about doing this podcast, I get to talk to my friends. It makes me feel good. I hope it makes them feel good. I love them, and I appreciate it. And I was very hesitant when we first went on this venture. And now it's one of my favorite parts of the week, if not my favorite part of the week. So I love you guys. Take care of people. Talk to people. It always helps each other out.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Got nothing to add. Well said. Love you guys. Great show. See you tomorrow.
Hey, and we'll just a little teaser. We might have some in-person podcast coming up soon as well. We got a lot of stuff that we might be together for. I know at least for Mr. Foy's wedding. So keep a lookout. We're also going to try to get some stuff put together with the Ryan Ripken show as well, especially if we're all going to be in town for Mr. Foy's wedding. So
yes, sir.
We'll be announcing some of that stuff here in the future. So keep an eye out.
All right. See you, boys.
As always, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Love you. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.